Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning after show. That's Ryan G. Hensley. I'm Grant L. Cohn. The Niners are going to the Super Bowl. They're back. And we're going to preview this matchup a little bit. We're not going to pick a winner because it's not time for that, but we're going to sort of break down the matchup. But I think what we usually do is look back, not forward, because it's the morning after show. So let's start by looking back before we look ahead. Ryan, what have we learned about Brock Purdy in the playoffs this year, the past two games?
Well, we learned he's the real deal, man. Kyle was right. Brock Purdy is the real deal. We've learned that. I mean, a lot of people thought that already. And I told everybody on your show probably in like October that I'm sold on Brock Purdy. But like the real deal title, that's a big deal for Kyle Shanahan to throw out. And he was right, man. He put this team on his back yesterday. He really did. I mean, there's a lot of people involved with that comeback. Brandon Ayuk, phenomenal. CMC, phenomenal. Gibson, huge play. But Brock Purdy, by all means, did his part. That guy is so composed, so calm under pressure. I love that about him. I also like that he's not scared to let it fly, which we suffered through with Jimmy, who was, he was scared to take risks. Brock Purdy is not scared to take risks. He's not scared to give his receivers opportunity to make plays. And we also learned, we saw in the Cincinnati game, but we saw a lot last night, man. The guy can run. And a lot of people compare him to Joe, and I think it's way too premature to do that. Joe's one of the GOATs. My favorite quarterback for the 49ers of all time is actually Steve Young. And last night, he looked more like Steve Young than Joe Montana. Not that I'm saying he's as good as him, but that's what he looked like last night. So we learned a lot about Brock Purdy, man.
He reminds me a lot of Jeff Garcia. I like what I want to say, what I've learned about Brock Purdy, and I think we've known it, but now that he did it on a big stage, that he did in the NFC Championship, he's a really mobile quarterback. Like you wouldn't call zone reads for him or quarterback draws because he doesn't run a 4.5 and he's not going to run over people. But as a scrambler, which to me, those are the best runs for a quarterback. I don't really care about the zone read. That's not an important part of your offense. Scrambles are an incredibly important part of your offense. And Steve Young, my favorite player of all time too, was the greatest scrambler of all time. One of them, if not the greatest scrambler of all time. Those plays are deadly. They kill defenses. Well, Brock, in a game where he wasn't throwing his best, I mean, his quarterback rating was 89. He wasn't lighting it up. He lit him up with his legs.
Yeah.
And he needs to do that more. He could do it whenever he wants, I feel like. He could do it more if he wanted to. A lot of times he wants to keep the play alive and throw it. But I feel like what we've learned, I'm gonna go negative. I'm gonna balance this off. Started with all the positive stuff about Brock Purdy. He's clutch, he's mobile, he's unflappable, all that stuff. I still don't like his arm that much. I'm sorry. Why was he the last pick in the draft? His arm. His arm. And his decision-making isn't as good as it's made out to be. Like, the interception was a Jimmy G interception. We talked about it all week. Dude, don't force those passes in the intermediate area of the field. The lines are waiting for him. And he did it. Jimmy would do that. Then the deciding play of the game, essentially, that 51-yard throw to Brandon Ayuk. I mean, it hit the DB in the face.
It did.
It should have been picked. So what we also learned about Brock is he's really lucky. And good for him. Because, man, things work out for that guy.
If you look throughout the history of sports, there's just some guys that just seem to have magic. And he seems to have it, man. He really does. Now, that interception, I know a lot of people say, well, it was a tip pass, it hit his hand. But if you look at where he was throwing, it was to Debo. There was no
like triple coverage. There's no way he should have thrown that pass.
Yeah, tipped or not, it wasn't probably would have been intercepted either way. So it was a bad decision. But I hear your point. He doesn't have the strongest arm, and that target, it was off a little bit. But it was one-on-one with Ayuk downfield. I'm okay with that, man. Make that throw. Let Ayuk go make a play because we haven't had that in so freaking long. I can't remember. Like, who's the last? Kaepernick. Kaepernick was probably the last person to make those throws. If there's a one-on-one deep, let it rip and let your receiver make a play. And that's all especially in those situations, right? Like maybe that's not the best decision when you're up by 15, 20 points. But when you're down in that situation, you gotta give your receivers an opportunity to make a play, and he did that. Man, I'm impressed with Brock Purdy, man. I really am.
I guess I am too. I am too. I mean, what I want to say is when he was losing, when he threw that pick, when he overthrew Brandon Ayuk before it turned into a catch, I was thinking, boom, he's turning into Jimmy Garoppolo right in front of our eyes. Like, I don't want to hear about his decision making and his accuracy and this and that. Like, in the playoffs, he's turning into Jimmy Garoppolo. But he didn't, because a huge difference between them is their legs. Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't freaking move. And I think he got hurt because he didn't move that well. You could sort of see he would like get anxious as plays went on. Brock moves so well. He's so confident, avoiding people. Like that throw to Jawan Jennings, it was almost like a jump shot. So cool. And to me, to win big in the NFL, in modern NFL, you have to be mobile. Have to. Yeah. And I think that was Jimmy's issue. He couldn't protect himself. He couldn't get away from the rush. Goff couldn't get away from the rush. Anytime he had to move his feet, it was bad news for the Lions. So yeah, I would take what I learned. I would take Brock Purdy over Jared Goff right now. I think he's the modern NFL quarterback, even though he probably has the weakest arm of any starting quarterback in the league.
Yeah, man, I've been saying for a long time, my favorite kind of quarterback, and I actually thought Trey was going to be that guy, is the guy that can scramble, not a running quarterback, but a guy that can scramble. Scrambler.
Yep.
I don't like running quarterback. I don't like design runs for quarterback. No. That's not my thing. Scrambling quarterback. Steve Young is the prototype for me. And Brock, man, he does I never expected Brock Purdy to be the guy that takes shots downfield, that is mobile and scrambles around when we drafted him. He's been a pleasant surprise, man. I'm thrilled that Brock Purdy is playing the way he is. He gives the 40. He elevates the Niners. He really does elevate this team, and it's fantastic, man. I'm very optimistic about the 49ers. This Chiefs matchup is going to be tough, for sure, and I'm sure we'll get there. But having Brock Purdy playing the way he is playing has been amazing, man. Sold.
I think we also learned that he can take a team come from behind. I was asking about that. I didn't say he couldn't do it, but I pointed out like, hey, man, he really hasn't proven that he can do that yet. He did in back-to-back games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's important.
The biggest comeback in NFC Championship history. The biggest comeback that I've ever seen under Kyle Shanahan that I can recall. I think what they did it against, I believe, the Falcons in 2019, I believe, a similar comeback story. But, I mean, this has been just – what a game, dude. Like, I thought this game was over. And, Dan Campbell is what's the proper word? An idiot? I don't know. We were not stopping
he's a clown. Run. I'm sorry.
The 49ers did not stop the run. Dan Campbell stopped the run last night. They could have kept running. You're up by 17 points at halftime. Just run the ball, man. They're not stopping you. They're averaging, 6 yards a carry or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
This is on Dan Campbell. But shout out to the Niners for not giving up. I mean, I thought this game was over. I was close to saying this game is done, and they fought their way back, and a big part of that is because of Brock Purdy.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
Never expected it. Yeah.
Yeah. Good for Brock. JT says, go Niners. It's Kyle time. Hard will pay off. FY, Brock is not Jimmy, LOL. No, again, Brock needs to be looked at as a mobile quarterback. I compared him to Jeff Garcia. A little bit shorter. Jeff Garcia was one hell of a scrambler. Garcia had a stronger arm than Brock Purdy. Garcia was a muscled up little guy. Purdy isn't yet, but they're quite similar. And if you put Jeff Garcia on this team, he'd have crazy numbers too.
He does remind me of Jeff Garcia now that you bring it up, because Jeff could move too.
I think that's the best comp.
Yeah, it is a good one. It is a good one. Yeah, you're right. Jeff had a stronger arm, for sure.
He could drive it.
Yeah, he could. He
could drive it.
But he also had T.O., and I'm not sure.
For sure.
I'm not sure. Yeah, and so he had some good weapons. But yeah,
he didn't have a defense.
He did not. No, he did not have any sort of defense. I mean, and shout out, I interviewed Mike Singletary. I don't think people give Mike Singletary enough credit for actually bringing defense to the 49ers, man. Like he kind of installed that into this franchise. He really did.
True. Mike Nolan tried. Mike Singletary succeeded.
Yeah.
Salim says, you like Filthy Rich. I do like Filthy Rich. I thought it was cool when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Marshawn Lynch, who's from Oakland, put on Filthy Rich in the locker room. It was that song, Ready to Ride. Yeah, I remember. Look it up.
Yeah.
J Zach Losho says sent CJ back to 8 Mile. One more game, boys. Just want to say you two are my favorites to watch, including Papa Cohn and Jesse. Haha, bang bang. Am I the only person who finds Eminem like extremely corny?
He is a little bit corny at this age. I thought it was hilarious. He's flipping off fans from the skybox in the first half. In the second half, he's like,
What makes some more emo songs about your ex-wife? I don't know. Salim Ingram, luck just at gotta hold a couple more weeks. Just gotta hold a couple more weeks. Matthew Sanders, sneaking suspicion that Ayuk play would have been PI. No, he the corner was making a play on the ball.
They threw a flag and then they took it back. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was, but yeah, I mean, and you know, he had a similar pass to Ayuk on the sideline. It was the same thing, right? Brandon Ayuk turned into the corner on that play and had to break it up. So there were two passes like that to Ayuk in single coverage where Brandon Ayuk had to make a play. But I love it. Like I said, man, I love it. Take those shots, man. You watch other teams, they do it all the time. If it's one-on-one, your best receiver, throw it up there and let him make a play.
Yeah. Am I the only one that remembers, though, that the fourth play of the game was a deep shot to Brandon Ayuk that was nearly intercepted by Cameron Sutton? Am I the only person that remembers that?
That's what I'm saying. That's the play I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like,
should I be petty enough to put together a highlight reel of the near picks for? I'm not going to do it.
It's not bad timing. Yeah.
It's a bad time. I would have if they lost.
Yeah. You're going to the Super Bowl, man. You're going to Vegas. That's exciting, bro.
It is exciting, man.
Have you ever covered
Super Bowl week is exhausting, man. Covering that is
You went to the last one, right?
I did in Miami.
Yeah, you're gonna be so you get to interview everybody, both teams, all of that, right?
Dude, back then, so like I had no money when I was covering it. It was 4 years ago. I had no money. I'd just gotten married. I was hoping they would reimburse me. I was staying near the airport, which is a cool half hour from South Beach. And I just stayed in my room when I wasn't interviewing people and ate this. You know, when you go down to the hotel lobby, you can get like cheaper food that's been there for a day.
Hella bagels and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I ate the been there for a day food for a week every day because that's all I could afford.
Yeah.
Good times.
Is your wife going with you to Vegas?
Nah, not this time, man. Not this time.
Wow, you're gonna have a great time, man. That's awesome. You're gonna elite content coming from Grant Super Bowl week.
Yeah, me streaming from a hotel room. It'll be fun. Funny Box 5544 says, do you think CJ Beathard could have done this? Yeah, that's the question on all of our minds right now. Justin Cheeseman. No. Justin Cheeseman says, Grant, time to call Brock elite. Your excuse was he hasn't come back in a game. Now you still won't call him elite. What does it take for you to say he's elite? Being elite. Because that's what it takes. When he's elite, I'll call him elite.
He was elite last night. I'll give him that. He was elite last night. I will say that. He was. I mean, look at the second half, dude. You're losing by 17. Let me read it off, Grant. You're losing by 7. You're losing by 17. Look, you know I'm a realist, but I got to be real. You're losing.
Hey, you want to call him elite? That's your. Go ahead.
Last night, second half of that game, 13 for 16, 174 yards, 1 touchdown, 132 passer rate, and 3 scrambles for 50.
How many yards? How many yards?
174 in the second half.
Okay, and 51.
52.
And when he hit the dude in the face, I'm sorry.
That's true too.
I'm sorry. He hit the dude in the face, Ryan. That was the play of the game. Look, he won the game. I'm not taking anything away from him. I gave him a solid B, but he hit him in the face. I'm sorry. That was the play of the game. It's not like where Eli Manning hit David Tyree and David Tyree caught it against his helmet. Like, you know, that's a good throw. Like you hit, it should have been a pick. And even if it wasn't a pick, if that was just incomplete, his quarterback rating would have been what, 70 something?
You know what though? What you don't know is in the huddle, he called off of dude's face.
Exactly.
To Brandon Ayuk.
Trick shot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. To me, like, what we've learned, another question would be, I guess, bonus question. Bonus question. Are you more or less confident in Brock Purdy after the last 2 games?
Oh, more confident. Have to be. The thing about Brock that, yes, he was, you know, a little off on those deep shots. I admit that. He hit dude in the face. But it's that composure, man. The dude was calm as I can't. I'm trying to recall.
Hey, Jimmy was real calm when he was throwing picks. I'm a jerk.
You know what though?
Jimmy's jerk. I'm sorry.
Jimmy's feet were not calm.
No, they weren't.
No. Brock has this calmness to him.
You're right.
Where he's just like, hey man, I'm gonna go do my thing. I don't care. I love that about him, man. I love it.
So you haven't lost confidence in him because he hasn't lost confidence in him, at least outwardly.
I've gained confidence in him because I've seen him come back on the Packers by 4. I've
That's
seen
true.
him come back against the Lions by 17.
He did it in like 8 minutes. That was fast.
Amazing, man. I love it.
Okay, let me throw something at you. What about the fact that he's thrown 5 interceptable passes in the last 2 games and only one's been picked?
He's got that magic.
How does that bode going into the Super Bowl?
Magic. He's got that.
He does.
Yeah.
He's Harry Potter, man.
He's a Harry Potter of quarterbacks.
He is the Harry Potter of quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I never watched Harry Potter.
Did you read it?
No.
Ooh.
No, or Lord of the Rings.
Treat yourself. It's so good. I read it when I was a kid. My dad's rereading it right now. He's on the last one. He just devoured it. It's so good.
I only watch
the movies or whatever.
I only read nonfiction.
Why?
I don't know. I like to learn from people's experiences in life.
I'm an English major though, and I feel like English majors often, will attest that you can learn a lot from fiction. A lot of times, those characters are more real than real people, and that's deep. Anyway, we're here to talk about football.
Look, not Harry Potter.
Everyone's comparing Brock Purdy to Joe Montana. Joe Montana never threw a pick in the Super Bowl. I'm a little concerned that Brock Purdy's going to throw a pick against the Chiefs, and that's going to be that. He got away with it against the Lions. I don't know that he's going to get away with it against Patrick Mahomes and that defense, which is much better than the Lions defense. So I'm a little scared that Brock is a little interception prone. He was in training camp. He's had so many dropped. How is he this lucky? The ball just floats through the air on a little pillow, on a cloud, and just arrives so softly in the defensive. And I think it's like a baby, and they're like, no, I can't touch that. It's not mine. It's not for me.
Harry Potter, man. He's a magician. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that he could throw interceptions. The thing about this 49ers team that's a little different, and even though they were 2-4 going into that game when Brock throws an interception, now they're
3-4.
3-4.
They can win.
They can win even when they throw one. But the thing about it is this offense is so explosive compared to previous offenses that even if you make a mistake, you can still come back and win, especially if you're willing to take risks. Yeah.
No question about it. Kenny 757 says today's my son's 14th birthday, and the same date that we won Super Bowl 129 1995. Wow. The key to winning this Super Bowl is maximum effort. I'm looking at you, Chase. Happy birthday, son of Kenny.
Happy birthday, man. And you're right about Chase. Crazy, dude.
Salim says Brock has things he needs to improve, but at least he knows that when you have a stud like Ayuk, you got to give him a shot.
Stud like me and Ayuk. Stud like me. He's a stud as well. Salim said a stud like me and Ayuk.
Ayuk wasn't really open on that play.
It was one-on-one. Go make a play. And he did.
He did.
I'm here for it, man. Because Jimmy would only throw it if the dude's wide ass open deep. That's the only time he would throw deep.
Which Sanders was in the Super Bowl. I don't know why I can't get over Kindle Wilder doing what he did. I don't care. And I wasn't rooting for the Lions. And I really think that they were total frauds. And it makes me giggle that they lost the way they did. But it's like,
yeah.
I was on with Sal Castaneda. He called it the fluke to Ayuk. I like that.
The fluke to Ayuk.
The fluke to Ayuk. I'm sorry.
Did
you hear what Ayuk said? He was like, man, a ladybug landed on my shoe before the game, so I knew something good was going to happen. Like, yeah, basically, that's what happened.
Is that what he said?
That's pretty much what explains it. JT says, awesome birthday gift for me. Niners winning. Love you, Niners Nation. Quest to 6. It was divine intervention, man. It was like Pulp Fiction.
That's what it felt like.
It was divine intervention. It was a lot like 2 years ago when they won in Green Bay because they blocked that punt and no one could see it. It was like God came down and blocked the punt. God came down and tipped it to Ayuk. You thought it was Kindle Wilder. It was God down from heaven.
I remember we talked about it a while. Like something about the season, man. They're just breaking all these records and just everything's kind of going their way. They're getting the magic and something about this season, man. I have no doubt that the 49ers were going to get to the Super Bowl. I've been saying that for, I don't know, 4 months. Now the question is, will they win it? That's a different one. We'll see.
Yeah, no one picked the Niners to lose these games locally. Everyone all the content creators I know were saying the Niners would win big both times because neither the Detroit or Green Bay had good defenses. Well, that's not what happened. And so you spin it and say, well, they won a new way. Sure, absolutely. But squeaking by Green Bay and Detroit at home doesn't necessarily mean you're going to take care of business against Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Although it's a different team. We'll see what happens. JT, you guys see CJ Gardner-Johnson wave goodbye in second quarter.
That's a little early, CJ. Yeah, what was that little cheap shot on Debo? He thought like that proved something. And then CMC stiff-armed the hell out of him, put him on his back.
This shows you that team was not the real deal. Fraudulent. These NFC teams were fraudulent this year. I'm sorry. The Niners are the only NFC team that mattered all year.
They beat every single NFC playoff team this year.
The Rams weren't. All these teams. I'm sorry. The Cowboys. No. The NFC was trash this year. The Niners were the class of it. And they were not. They were. Well, we'll see how they do against. They haven't really beaten. They beat Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. They haven't really made their statement against AFC yet. This is the time. Funny box, because you compared Brock to CJ, remember? Yeah, like 2 years ago when they drafted him. Funny box. Yeah. Man. For life.
Funny box.
I feel like
crazy. Funny box is crazy. That's
funny box is crazy. Well, there you go. For Life Niners says you use Juwan Jennings second 2 down to mix it up.
On the second down. No, because he only gets it on third, apparently. Yeah.
Sure. Ethan M. Kyle keeps overthinking these game plans. Run it.
They weren't having a lot of success running the ball.
They couldn't run on first down. He needed to run on second down. They were packing the box on 1st and 10, which is what a lot of teams are going to do. So run on second down. Isn't that hard? BA had his defiant playoff moment. Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah. Just incredible. Jay Smalls says Grant with the suit. Oh, yeah, W stream. Had to do it. I was like, gonna take it off. I was like, why would I take it off? Everyone wants me to be more professional. The Goose OC needs to have a meeting with Wilkes this Super Bowl. QC. Yeah. We're gonna talk about his defense in a second. For Life Niners says, are you taking pops with you to the Super Bowl? Yes, I absolutely am.
Awesome.
Ryan Mack says BP is so good he can ricochet a ball off a defender face and still make a completion.
Yeah, he called it.
And one. Yeah. And one football by Brock Purdy.
Remember that commercial with who was it? Michael Jordan and who was it? Somebody else. Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. And they were taking trick shots. Yeah, off the wall, off the backboard. Remember that?
Do you remember the And One mixtape tour?
Yes.
Do you remember the Professor?
Oh yeah.
For sure. That's Brock Purdy.
The Professor.
Ooh. The Professor. That's Brock Purdy.
Professor Purdy.
The little nerdy white dude who had skills.
Yeah. He's still out there doing his thing.
I'm sure he is. I went to see an open run of And One mixtape at Oakland Coliseum when I was in middle school. And what I realized is it's the worst pickup game ever. And Hot Sauce and the Professor, they constantly get the ball and try to do cool stuff. And they pull it off 1 out of 10 times. And the one time they pull it off, they put it on the mixtape. And they're like, oh my God. But it's he tried to do that move all day.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. That's why they're not in the NBA.
Yeah. Let's not forget that was a pass interference. No, it wasn't. Double B, I love you. They picked it up. Moody was money when we needed him, says Bryant Cope. Yeah, and he missed a field goal for the 3rd game in a row. Will he miss one in the Super Bowl? Will you let him take one? Bryant Cope, Moody was money. We got you. Flavor, no Bosa shrug celebration.
I love that. Let me talk about Bosa real quick. Can we talk about Bosa?
Mm-hmm.
Bosa was locked in, and it was awesome to watch, but it was also weird. I've been thinking about this. Bosa played so hard last night, the hardest I've seen him play all year. You could just watch that effort, how hard he was going. Why don't they play like that all the time? That's the thing. That's the negative part of it. I was so impressed with Bosa last night, but also, why don't you play like that all the time?
I don't understand. It's they pay you enough. She praised Mike. J Tart ghost owed us on that drop pick. It's true. The Niners, you could argue that they didn't win the Super Bowl because they dropped a pick, so they're getting some karma back. Karma. It's not coincidence. It's PNC.
PNC. What is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's not a common thing to see. You gotta become better than that. You gotta lay it out.
Why do I
clear
not know
for
what
us.
that is? It's gonna piss me off when I figure it out. Ethan M says, "Did you see they're making 11 a priority to extend?" I would think.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
After he caught the pass off the face, I mean, legendary. Double B Studio, the doink catch, BA's 50-yard bomb was the switch. The doink catch. I like that. The catch, no, it's the doink catch. Ethan M says, you'd enjoy anime manga if you prefer fiction.
I don't like my wife and my kids love anime. I can't get into it.
I watched Pokemon when I was a kid on TV.
It's too young for me.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything. J. Zach Lowe Show says Brock's not lucky. He's blessed with Jesus.
Okay. Jesus loves the Niner. Jesus is a Niner fan.
Is he the only Christian quarterback? Black Pill Phil says the Chiefs have trouble with teams who run the ball. As I said the past 2 weeks before, if the Niners play their brand of football, they will win. I mean, the Ravens run the ball. They didn't have a problem with the Ravens.
They haven't played their brand of football over the last 2 weeks, though. That's the thing. Right?
The Niners have trouble with teams who run the ball, Black Pill Phil.
Yeah, I don't think Pacheco, as much as I love Pacheco, he runs hard, but the Chiefs in general are not going to be just like run. That's not going to be their game.
They were yesterday.
Well, they got 60, but he has 62 yards.
He ran 20 times, 20 something.
2.9.
But at least they committed to it.
Yeah.
But they weren't that great at it. Matthew Sanders, Joe put one in the hands since he DB Billups LOL Grant.
Joe put one in the hand. Y'all got to kick down like $3 more and write these full sentences.
He's saying that Joe had a dropped interception on one of the drives. Yeah. Hadn't he already won 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah. He's Joe. I still want to see him win a Super Bowl before I start saying this guy is Joe Montana.
How many interceptable passes do you have in that game? Brock had 3 yesterday. But it's cool. Chris Tallarico says Brock isn't Montana, but he has been doing the Montana stuff in the playoffs, been being great when he needs to be, also channeling Garcia for those runs. Garcia had a big comeback against the Giants. Dan Campbell's on the team that he beat.
Doing Montana stuff means winning Super Bowl. So let's see, man. I hope so.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. He hit the guy in the face. I'll never get over that. Noe GQ Pena says NFL should show Grant when the Niners make plays like they showed Taylor. Niners all in. Who's Taylor?
That would be Swift.
That would be so funny.
They should
Me in the press box being like, just getting so mad at the Lions. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're the Taylor Swift of the Niners, the Coneheads.
I'm just quality control. I want both teams to play their best, and I get upset at the teams that don't come correct with the 49ers. Like, anyway, Jack's Fat Boy. Chiefs look very beatable this year. Just run CMC. They haven't looked that beatable in the playoffs, though.
Their defense is better than ever, is the thing.
Better than the Niners defense statistically. Sean O'Leary, shout out to Eminem and his double birds. Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or would you let it slip? God, he's corny. Wasn't that a PI in the Miracle IU catch? They picked up the flag. No. Chris Tallarico says Detroit was so happy to be there, but didn't know how to play in those moments. Happens to younger and experienced teams every year. I mean, Josh Reynolds dropped 2 critical passes. He's not young. He's just not good and shouldn't have gotten those targets. Yeah. Dan Campbell, he's always going to make those mistakes. And Jared Goff is always going to be the slowest quarterback ever. So I don't know if it was inexperience or just them not being good enough.
Not to take anything away from the 49ers because they did do their thing, but Lions should have won that game. Had they been smart about how they approached the second half, they should have won that game easily.
Andrew LaRue says Joe had the catch, Brock had the ricochet. The doink. Every time I watch the play, I laugh out loud. It's like poor Vilder.
I love
what happened.
I gotta watch.
Jose Canseco'd it, man. Remember when Jose Canseco did that? He was trying to catch the ball in the outfield to hit him in the face and went for a home run.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Yeah, I remember that.
Isn't that kind of tough to take credit for that as a hitter? Be like, yeah, I really got a hold of that one. I mean, it should have been an out, but it was a home run.
Counts as a point. Maybe
I'll take it.
Maybe he called it. Yeah.
Hey, off his dome. Francisco says, who would you say were top 3 of the second half?
Brock, CMC, BA.
Yeah, Even Debo was super good. Anthony Adams, Grant, QC is critical for our success. For real. All right. We got so many super chats. I'm going to come back, but I want to do a little prize picks because they're sponsoring the show. And we already got the Niners lines up. So let's go right into it. Brock Purdy, 248.5 pass yards in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, more or less.
I'm going to say more. I think it's going to take more than that in order to win. So I think they're going to have to, because Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to be able to score, I believe, a lot.
I don't want to do that one. I take it away. I take it back. Sorry. False start.
Okay.
I want to do this one because I'm a jerk.
All right.
Brock Purdy, more or less than 0.5 interceptions. Boom. Let's start right there. Because you can only do one play. You can't do two of one player.
Well, sir.
Yeah.
I got to go over on that one.
Me too. Brock, prove us wrong.
Hey, you know what, man? That Reed, the safety named Reed. I forget his first name on the Chiefs. Dude is good,
Justin
man.
Reed, Eric Reed's little brother.
Is that Eric Reed's little brother?
That's his little brother. Yep.
He's good, man. He's
Quite
really good. Yeah.
He went to Stanford. He was with the Texans. I remember he smacked Trey Lance on that zone read run 2 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
Ran him down. Good player.
Yeah.
Okay. Christian McCaffrey, 130.5 yards from scrimmage. More or less.
I'm going to say more. Yeah, I mean, he did it last night, right? Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that's.
I think he was at 128. Was he at 128? I think he was right on it.
132.
132. There you go.
Yeah. I'm going to say more. They're going to need him. And I think he's going to have more success running the ball than he did against the Lions. Not that Chiefs defense is bad, but I think he'll have more success.
Okay, Debo, 56.5 receiving yards, more or less.
That's tough. Let me see. Debo last night had 89. He had a good game, by the way.
He did.
Sneaky good game. I'm going to say
a really good game.
I want to say more, man. I think in these games, Kyle kind of turns to Debo. He had, I think, 3 straight plays out in the second half for Debo Samuel, I believe. I think it's gonna be heavy Debo centric in this.
Kansas City has some really good corners.
Yeah,
for the record,
they do.
L'Jarius Sneed giving up a quarterback rating of 56 this year.
Okay, wait. This is receiving yards.
Yeah,
not all purpose yards. I think he's going to be heavy in the run game. I don't know if he's going to be over in receiving yards.
That's what I'm saying. We got to really think about this one, Ryan. 56.5. I could see him kind of getting shut down and being limited to screens.
I think you're right, man.
You know,
let's go under on that
one.
Let's
go less. I'm sorry.
I think
no disrespect, Debo, but this is a tough matchup.
Hit that Kittle one, bro. I think this is going to be a Kittle game because he
didn't really get many targets the last one.
No, and he wants to show Taylor Swift that he's the real tight end. And
it's the Taylor Swift factor.
Yeah, he's gonna go. I think it is gonna be a Kelsey versus Kittle type game. So I'm gonna go more with George Kittle.
I don't want to do Kittle though.
Okay.
I want to do Moody. 1.5 field goals made for Jake Moody, more or less. 1.5. Wow, you really think they're gonna 2 field?
I'm gonna say less.
I'm gonna say less. Like I don't know about that one. Less
more attempts. Less
made.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one for the Chiefs. We could do Pacheco. We could do Mahomes.
Let's do Pacheco, man. Pacheco had 68 yards, 24 carries. That's awful, actually. Yeah, 2.8 yards.
68.5 rushing yards for Pacheco. More or less.
He got 68 in the last game. I think the 49ers will do a better job shutting him down. I'm going to say less. I know.
Wait. Yeah. You think the Niners are going to do a better job? The Niners run defense is going to do a better job than the Ravens run defense?
I think it's going to be more about them attacking the 49ers in the passing game and less run.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be more about. Even though the 49ers struggled against the run. Well, hey, you're allowed.
Yeah, it's true. I guess I am allowed to disagree with you on this one.
You are. Pull the trigger, and we're going to come back.
Let's remember that we disagreed on this one, and let's come back to it next week.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to bet something with you, but I don't know what to bet.
Let's do that. I'm down.
We should bet something, a gentleman's bet or something. But this is fun. I disagree. I'm going more.
You're going more.
I'm going
less.
more for Pacheco than 68.5.
All right. We'll bet on something. It can't just be gentlemen. We got to put some, there's got to be skin in the game.
Wait, we only have 5? Okay, let's do Mahomes then. 261.5 passing yards, more or less.
261. I'm going to say more.
Me too.
Because every time he plays the Niners, he does way more than that. He ate against the Niners. That's a scary thing about this game, man. Remember that last year they get Christian McCaffrey and Jimmy Garoppolo. The whole defense is injured. I understand that, but he destroyed the 49ers in the passing game last year. He scares me.
He makes it look easy too. He's so unbothered when he plays the Niners. Anyway, those were our picks. You want to make the picks? Go to Prize Picks. Use promo code Cohn, COHN. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100. I hear Prize Picks ads all over. They're doing great. And they always have different promo codes that give you the deposit match. Don't use those. Use mine. Mine is way better. I'm telling you. And you may not get any more savings, but I appreciate it. Promo code Cohn, COHN. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Prize Picks. All right, we got to move quick. Not super quick, but man, we got so many things to get through. Let's get back to some super chats and then we'll go to the next topic. Crazy Gaming says teams will now have to worry about Brock's legs. He definitely should be considered a quarterback to respect. Haters look lame today. Love the show with you both in it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And your gaming is crazy.
I don't think there are any haters that exist anymore. I think Brock's won everyone over.
Even Ryan Clark flipped the script.
You hate Brock. Yeah. Like he's playing for free. He's really good. And I do agree. You should, when you're making a game plan for Brock Purdy, you need to think of him as a mobile quarterback, and you need to think that he's more dangerous outside the pocket than in it. In the pocket, if you pressure him and constrict him, he's small. He might get tip passes. Outside the pocket, you're screwed.
3 tip passes in that first half.
Yeah, you're screwed when he gets out of there. House of Jello says this low-key reminded me of the 2012 Giants run. Struggled the whole way, but whooped on the Tigers in the World Series. Oh, wow, we're talking baseball. Bosa finally earned his check.
Do it again in the Super Bowl. And I think he will. They need Chase Young to freaking do it. That's what they need. Chase Young, come on, bro. Double B Studio says, were you able to flip off Eminem? Hey, Jesus 808 says, somebody go get gold off his couch. Justin Cheeseman says, have you guys noticed Armstead still looks hurt? Yes. Probably is.
Quite hurt. Nicholas Ford, coincidence that the Niners defense played way better when Ambry Thomas got hurt. We need him off the field.
Yeah, Logan Ryan stepped in and played a little corner yesterday.
Yeah, he did. Impressive. Gold Rush Grant, you said the team carried BP wrong. He carried the team without his rushing yards. They don't win. All right, fair enough. His rushing yards were really, really big. Agree. Josh Wyatt says, remember when Mahomes went 13-16 for 170 with another 50 on the ground in the second half to single-handedly drag his team to the Super Bowl? Oh, wait.
He probably has done that. I'd be surprised if he hasn't. Are we saying,
come on, him Wyatt, in the face.
Are we saying that Mahomes can't do what Purdy does? Is that what we're saying right now?
What would his quarterback rating have been if Kendall Vilder didn't try to catch that pass with his face? Niner Vito says, mom spaghetti for dinner. Mom spaghetti, sweetie. Taylor Swift, no debate. No question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Jay Rivera, Steve Young has 1 Super Bowl win. How many NFC championship losses?
What are we coming at Steve Young for? What is the meaning of this?
Yeah, what does it have to do with anything? And for 199, you can look that up yourself. Don't ask me rhetorical questions for 199. Matthew Sanders says, put some respect on Juice the ballet dancer. That was an incredible play. Scorpion Killer 0 says, what's up with the Chase man? He looks like he doesn't even want to be there. It's literally for the Super Bowl and he's jogging around the field. Why do you think the Washington football team gave up on him?
Isn't it weird your name's Chase and you don't chase anyone?
Sometimes life has a sense of humor. Flavor Reborn Restoration says Lions held running backs by crowding the line. Why didn't Wilkes do the same? He did in the second half. It took him a long time.
Yeah.
Rorschach says, where was there a kickoff that should have been a safety? No.
I didn't see
Chris
that.
Tallarico says, QC, can you tell Kyle to stop running the wide 9 packed up with the softest zone known to the game of football in the offseason? This playoff run is the worst Niners defense I've ever seen. That's actually one of our topics, Chris. We're going to get there. We've been a little slowed down. All right. Let's talk about what the Lions revealed about the 49ers defense. I mean, clearly it revealed that the Niners have one heck of a time stopping the run. We've known that. I think it's pretty clear you can have success running at the edges. Like, you can't run at Chase Young or Randy Gregory enough. And even running at Bosa is a good option because it kind of wears him down as a pass rusher. I think one thing that was interesting that Detroit did, I don't know if you noticed it, was they would bring in an extra offensive lineman. And Steve Wilks, especially in the first half, and Steve Wilks didn't really do anything to counter it. I kind of have a feeling that the Chiefs are going to look at that and go heavy as well, have some 3 tight end sets, and go play action. I don't think there's going to be much of like a spread it out game for them. I think they're going to try to, they have a big offensive line like Detroit. They have a lot of tight ends like Detroit. I think they're going to try to bully the Niners. I think Detroit showed that you can bully the 49ers defense. It's a little soft.
They have a very good offensive line. The Chiefs do as well. So it's going to be interesting. You know, I noticed they did this for one play, and I think it was at least one play. They moved Armstead outside. Chase Young wasn't on the field. They moved Armstead outside. I forget who was in the middle. But that's a good look, I think, for the 49ers. They really got to think about that. They really need to look at the film.
They did that. I suggested that. QC.
Did you?
Let's go.
They were listening. They did that for at least one play, maybe 2.
Let's go.
They need to consider that. They need to listen to quality control moving forward in this game and try that, because
it's so important.
I don't know. They really need to get on Chase Young's ass. Nick Bosa, that's your boy, man. Like, watch the film with him and ask him where the hell his effort is.
Dude, you don't think Washington did? Look, it's a contract year for him. It was the NFC Championship. If that's how he's going to play under those circumstances, there is no motivating that guy. It's impossible. You're a coach, you know. It's impossible. That's who he is.
Can't teach motivation and work ethic. They either have it or they don't. Yeah.
He doesn't have it.
Yeah, man, that's what we learned. One thing we learned about the 49ers defense is that Chase Young is just not very good. He's not. I mean, he has a ton of talent. It's just that motor is absent. He's like a car sitting in your garage with no motor on the inside, right? That's what Chase Young is. And so we learned that for sure. And hopefully Chase Young proved me wrong in the Super Bowl and come out with the freaking effort, dude. So we learned that part about it. The other thing is the Wilks is a little too conservative with his zone coverage. Just very soft, very like he backed up, like he's scared of Jared Goff going deep on him. And they backed way off and allowed all these catches underneath. They got to stop doing that. It wasn't until the second half, I think they went man and they tightened up their zone where they started having more success against Goff. They got to do that in the beginning. And it's tough with Mahomes because if you come up, he'll take the top off. If you back up, he'll eat you up underneath. Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So the Lions show, hey, you can have success against the Niners. Steve Wilks won't even necessarily load the box until it's too late. That's the same thing that happened against Cincinnati, if you remember that. Yeah, they made that adjustment at halftime and it didn't work because Cincinnati's better than Detroit. But what Kansas City can do is they can say, all right, look at all the success Detroit had running David Montgomery between the tackles. You know what they did? They put like 2 tight ends on the formation, 1 on each side, and that takes a wide 9 and widens it out even more. And then they just double team the defensive tackles and gashed them right between the tackles. Easy as hell. Yeah. So eventually the Niners countered and realized, all right, well, you know, Jared Goff's not going to beat us over the top. Let's really shut this down.
Yeah.
Are you going to do that against Patrick Mahomes? At what point are you going to play 8 in the box against Patrick Mahomes? At what point are you going to acknowledge you're more nervous, you're more scared of Isaiah Pacheco than Mahomes? I don't think you will, which means to me, that's why I was adamant about Pacheco over. Pacheco could go nuts in this game because I don't see Wilks loading the box against the Chiefs. And if he doesn't, I think the Chiefs will be more than happy to run the ball to win.
They'll run the ball and they'll think and dunk their way. That's the thing is that
they've been doing it.
Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are really good at just taking what the defense gives you. If you back up, they'll take everything underneath and they'll run the ball. If you come up, they take the top off, and it's very hard. It's like pick your poison with the Chiefs. I'm not sure what the best strategy is going to be for this defense. That is a concern. This defense is, can I say, a little overrated? Like on paper, they should be the best defense in the NFL, but in the games, they're not performing like it at all. And it is a little concerning heading into the Super Bowl, man. Another thing that we learned about this defense, Jair Brown is a hell of a player, man.
Mhm.
I really like Jair Brown, man. He's got a bright future. It's going to be interesting seeing Jair Brown and Talanoa Hufanga
I
next
was
year
gonna
because
say
Gibson's probably done.
another thing we learned about this defense is they need Talanoa Hufanga. I feel like their run defense has gotten worse without him. And Jair Brown is definitely a lot better than Logan Ryan, but
Yeah.
they need Talanoa Hufanga back. Their run defense ain't it.
It's going to be interesting next year. I mean, I know it's a long way off, but it's probably going to be Huff and Brown back there because I don't know if Gibson's going to play another year, especially if they win a Super Bowl. I'm sure he's out of here. But Gibson is crucial to this team's success. So it's going to be interesting next year seeing him. But Jair Brown is a hell of a player, man. Glad that they drafted him. That's one hit they got in that draft.
Gene J says, will you keep Wilkes? He's terrible.
I would not.
He's going to stay. I don't think they're probably going to panic on that one, but I mean,
he's not. I like him as a person, but that I don't know what it. I don't know. Maybe it's execution, but why can't you stop the damn run? This is the worst run defense I've seen from the Niners in since 2017.
hey, you have two of the best linebackers in the league. Like, what's the problem? Muhammad Aslam says, Cohn, can you please ask defensive coach, does he have in blitz package, or are we going to play soft zone all game? Do something different. I'll ask him.
They got to mix it up. I think they got to mix it up on Mahomes. They got to have different looks every down with Mahomes. I feel like that's your best chance.
Yeah, Flavor Reborn says, reviewed highlights last night, and Gibbs CD. Chase had clear path to tackle him. Done data. Yeah, he didn't do anything. Chris Talarico, got to stop shading the BA catch. There are lucky plays in every game. It's up to the players to capitalize on that luck. BA did. That skill by BA. Yeah, for sure. That was an incredible play by Brandon Ayuk. One of the greatest catches I've ever seen. Absolutely. Brandon Ayuk gets 100% of the credit for that play. That's the best play of his career. The number one play of his career. Great play.
Hell of a play headed into contract negotiations.
I'm not saying the catch. In fact, we don't give the catch enough credit. That was an all-time great catch. Tony, fun fact, Dan Campbell was on that Giants team that Jeff Garcia brought the Niners back to win this game down 38-14, won 39-38. That is a fun fact.
You know something weird though, Grant, real quick? Matt Mayoka tweeted it out. The Lions were up on the 49ers 24 to 7 at halftime in 1957, I think it was.
That's right.
And same exact score. The Lions were up on us. They ended up coming back and winning. We ended up coming back and winning. It's crazy how stuff like that works out.
It's crazy.
What a quinkadink.
Yeah, what a coinky dink. All right, let's do a little advanced scouting of the Chiefs. So what's interesting about the Chiefs, you think about them, you think, how are you going to stop that offense? But really, what is that? Leave me alone. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's Skype. I'm just calling you on Skype. I did a show on BetUS TV. Like, leave me. Anyway, let's try that again. So you think of the Chiefs, you think of their offense, but I'm looking at them this year, and their defense was ranked second, and their offense was ranked 15th in points scored. So really, this particular version of the Chiefs is a defensive team.
Yeah.
Much more than they were when the Niners played them in the Super Bowl. They got George Karlaftis, who has 10 sacks. Chris Jones has 10 sacks. Charles Omenihu has 7 sacks. They have a really good pass rush. And then in their secondary, L'Jarius Sneed's one of the best corners in the league. Justin Reed's one of the best safeties in the league. Trent McDuffie's a really good nickel. What are you seeing from this defense?
They're very, very good. What's there to say? They're one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's scary to think about Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and a really freaking good defense. I mean, they struggled throughout the year. A lot of it was because the receivers were just not it. They led the NFL in drops on offense, but their defense has been good all year, and now their offense is clicking. It's a concern. Now, the good thing for the 49ers is their offense is better than ever. So Chiefs defense is better than ever, but the 49ers offense is also better than ever. It's tough to stop the 49ers offense when Kyle Shanahan is dialing it up. So Kyle's got to be in his bag. He's got to have a good, steady game plan. The Chiefs defense is good. So that presents a challenge. I mean, we've gone up against good defenses this year. The Browns didn't work out. The Ravens didn't really work out. So there is a reason to be concerned with this Chiefs team. If you're not, I think you're probably lying to yourself. This is a very good Chiefs defense. Now, I believe Aminihu hurt himself in that game. I'm not sure if he's coming back or what his status is. So that might deplete them a little bit if he's seriously injured. I'm not sure, but it's a really good defense, man. And they're going to have to just be in their bag. Kyle's going to have to call the best game of his life, have the best game plan of his life. But I really think it's a Kittle game, man. I think Kittle versus Kelsey is what we're going to be seeing. And that's the outlook I have on this Super Bowl.
Okay, let's talk about the Chiefs offense. It's not the same offense that the Niners faced in the Super Bowl. That offense was a Tyreek Hill offense, and he ultimately killed him. On that 3rd and 15, he got him. This defense is different. This offense is different. He's gone. Travis Kelce's still here. Isaiah Pacheco's the running back. He's better than what the Chiefs had 4 years ago. And their new number 1 wide receiver is a rookie, Rashee Rice. And Mahomes has a 126 rating when targeting him. He's kind of like their new Juju. You know, they had Juju as their slot receiver last year. They got rid of him, and this guy's younger, more explosive, better. Sort of a possession receiver who's good after the catch. They don't really take as many shots down the field anymore. They still have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who's a deep threat, but 4 years ago, they were bombs away. Now it's pretty much however it is required to win, they can do.
Here's the thing to me. Well, Travis Kelce, particularly in the postseason, is their offense. The 49ers got to figure out a way to remove Kelce from the equation. If you take Kelce out of it and you're depending on those young receivers, Rice and Scantling, they have proven that they will drop a lot of passes this year. They lead the NFL in drops. If I'm the 49ers defense, I'm trying to stop Pacheco. I'm also trying to remove Kelce from the equation and put it on those receivers. That's your best bet. Now, when you got Mahomes at quarterback, that could be a big mistake too, right? But I think that's your best bet. Do your best to stop Pacheco and remove Kelce from the equation. Make Patrick Mahomes beat you with those receivers that have not really proven themselves to be amazing this year.
That's scary.
That's your best bet, though.
It's scary.
It is.
Mahomes, we're going to load the box and dare you to beat us over the top with play action. Okay. He does it one time, I'm backing off. I'm telling you right now. He proves it one time. I'm like, cool. I got you. All right. Back Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes right there. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, Kelce is it, man. He had 12 targets, 12 catches, I believe, or 11, something like that. Mm-hmm. He is their offense, man. They had Kelce, 11 targets, 11 catches, 116 yards. Rice had 46 yards. Scantling had 38. They love to go to Kelce, man. And if you can take him, I mean, Pacheco only ran 2.8 yards per carry. So the Ravens did a good job stopping him or slowing him down and making him not effective. They got to stop Pacheco. That's number one. And Kelce. You take Pacheco and Kelce and you reduce their, input on the game, put it in the hands of Rashee Rice, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and see if they can beat you. I think that's your only chance.
So last time the Niners and the Chiefs played was last year, October.
Wasn't good.
Last season. Mm-hmm. And, the Niners didn't have Purdy in yet, but they had McCaffrey. And I'm not talking about the Chiefs defense. I'm talking about the Chiefs offense. They scored 44 in that game. Bosa played.
I think there were 6 or 7 starters out, though, in that game, I believe, for the defense, for the Niners. Wasn't there like 6 starting players out in that game?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up because that's a lot.
I think it was like, all right, maybe I'm backing up. At least 5 or 6 49er defenders were out.
Because that was 44 points. I think we got to know. We got to get this right.
Charvarius played, but he was hurt.
Okay, but he played. Yeah. 2002 regular season. Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, here we go. Game book. Who started? Ebukam, Givens, Ridgeway. Okay, so you didn't have your defensive tackles. You didn't have Armstead. You had Bosa, Warner, Greenlaw, Lenore, Jimmy Ward, Travarius Ward, Gibson, Hufanga. Okay, so you didn't have Armstead. You didn't have Armstead. Didn't have Hargrave. Well, he wasn't on the team yet. Didn't have Kinlaw.
There's a few people hurt. I remember, and Ward played, but he was beat up. Like
Mason, Dante Johnson, Kamoko Toure, Nick Zakel, Tyler Croft, Eric Armstead not active. So unless someone else was on IR, I think they were actually fairly. I'm saying they looked fairly there. They had Hufanga. They got smoked. Travis Kelce went for 6 catches for 98 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster went for 7 catches and 124. Marquez Valdez-Scantling went for 3 catches and 111. They were Mahomes threw for 423 yards. Pacheco went for 43 yards on 8 carries. They just got smoked. Outgained 529 to 444. Gave up 9 yards of play.
Do you remember that you watched the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened when they?
No, I don't actually. Well, tell me. Other people don't. Explain.
So the 49ers were like the first team that Mahomes has faced in like a year and a half that actually brought the safeties up and let him
in that game.
Top. Yeah, like I think who was it? Huff, who got an interception or almost got an interception because they were being aggressive with the safeties. And after that, Mahomes, he went to the sideline. He's like, "Oh, okay, you want to play the safeties up on me? Okay."
That's true.
And
he threw a pick on the first series.
Yeah, and he began to just dismantle.
They never punted again.
Yeah, that's what happened.
True. Yeah. That is what happened.
Yep. Yeah, if you haven't watched the quarterback, you need to.
McCaffrey had 8 carries. So he wasn't fully integrated in the offense yet. Jimmy Garoppolo was the quarterback, and he was okay. Ayuk went for 82 yards. Kittle went for 98, to your point. Debo went for 42.
Bobby Steele's corrected me. He says, I'm thinking about the Falcons game when everyone was hurt. You're right. I think
which was like the week before. Did you catch Brandon Ayuk? Did you catch Purdy calling Brandon Ayuk the best wide receiver on the team last night?
I did. He said one of the best wide receiver on the team. I noticed that.
There you go. All right. Is it time for the Niners to ditch the wide 9? They've kept it for years. D'Amico knew what to do with it. Robert Saleh knew what to do with it. Steve Wilkes never coached it before this year. They kept it because they still have Chris Kasarik, who's supposed to be the wide 9 guru, but can't stop the run. The pass rush, the 4-man pass rush is nothing special. What do you think? Is it? I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not a schematic guy in football, to be real with you, but I have coached basketball for 10 and a half years, and here's what I'll say, and I think the philosophies remain the same. There are coaches, and some coaches I know really well, that believe this is what we do. We're going to do it better than anyone else, and I don't care what the other team is going to do. This is what we do. It kind of feels like that's what the Niners are. Those coaches, though, to me, struggle because they're not adapting for the team, for the situation, for the players. Sometimes the best thing to do is mix it up. And so if it's not working, they have to figure out a solution because the run defense for the 49ers is absolutely trash. They're not getting to the quarterback as much as they were in previous years. So if what you're doing is not working, you need to switch it up. Now, do they completely ditch it and abandon it right now? I would say that's probably not the idea, but mix it up. Do something. If you're going to ditch it completely, you got to do that in the off season. I would say no, but they need to mix it up, especially against Patrick Mahomes. The best thing you can do against Mahomes is mix it up constantly, different looks. I mean, what else are you going to do? The guy's the best quarterback. If not, he might be the best quarterback of all time when all is said and done. So your best bet is to mix it up, give him as many different looks, confuse him as much as you can, and pray.
I just felt like it was interesting the way the whole wide 9 is built for teams that have good offenses. I feel like it's all about playing from a lead, with a lead, because once the Niners fell behind against the Lions, that wide 9 was just awful. I mean, it couldn't stop anything. It was a complete liability against a team with a good offensive line and a lead and a run game. And it took until the third quarter for the Niners to find a different way to load the box. Like, you shouldn't get gashed like that with those players. You're getting gashed like that because you have the wide 9 and you're not winning. Most of the time, you're up big, and those teams have to pass, and it's not. And your run defense doesn't even freaking matter. But
did they? Was that the case with Saleh and D'Amico? I guess
I think those guys had different changes that they could go to. Like I remember Robert Saleh going to 5-man lines when he needed to. I just don't feel like either Steve Wilks has the freedom, or I don't know what it is, but he's like really. He's not blitzing very much. Yeah,
they undercut him, right? He was mixing up in the beginning of the year, and all the players went to him and said, "Stop!" Right?
Yeah.
And that's
not what we do.
Right? Yeah, we're gonna come down from the booth, do what we do, and so now maybe he feels like he doesn't have the freedom and the flexibility to do what he wants to do. So maybe it's not all on Wilks, but I'm telling you, against the Chiefs, man, you got to mix it up and you got to take Kelsey out of it.
Overrated. Every time the Niners get a defensive lineman, they're like, "Oh well, Chase Young hasn't done much," but you give him Chris Kasarik, it's like,
well, you can't coach motivation, and that seems to be the problem with Chase Young. You can teach him as much skill set as you want, fundamentals, technique. If you're not going to come out there and try your ass off, it doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters, and I don't think we could put that on Chris Kasarik. I think it's more of a scheme thing right now, and it's hard for Wilks to find the balance of what he wants to do versus what they want him to do versus what he should be doing. I think that's what we're seeing, which has been the struggle for the 49ers. But what I can tell you is Saleh and D'Amico Ryans were much better at stopping the run with maybe a roster that's not as good as this one. Mm-hmm. So that does say something about the scheme and the play calling.
Jason Duncan, thanks for the $5. Jack's Fat Boy 65. The Niners have a 5-man line. Use it. You get Kinlaw in there. Joseph Mancusi says, I agree with blitz package. Greenlaw should blitz more. He blitzed once and threw Goff off his balance. You switch it up. David E says Joe Montana threw 3 picks in the Cash Championship game. Was he lucky to win? Are we comparing the placement of Joe Montana's pass to Dwight Clark to the placement of Brock Purdy's pass to Brandon Ayuk? Is that what we're doing today?
Why does it have to be Joe Montana?
Why does it have to be Joe?
Not Joe, guys.
Because, the spreadsheet
he's
encourages that comparison.
He's behind all of this. It's constantly every week, Brock Purdy's Joe Montana. Brock Purdy's Joe Montana. Like, chill out, dude.
And what I don't like about that type of journalism, it's first of all, it's just pandering. Because to me, it's like, look,
it's calculated.
Look. If I covered a different team, if I was in a different market, my coverage wouldn't change. I'd give the same salty quality control coverage to another team. If the spreadsheet or someone like that went to another market, all of a sudden that quarterback that he covered or she covered would be the greatest quarterback of all time. Whoever they happen to be covering.
Dak Prescott would be Troy Aikman.
The greatest quarterback of all time. And he'd give you stats and he'd go on and on and on just because that's what
Gino would be. Gino would be Russell Wilson.
So to me, I don't, it's not for me. It's not for me. I feel like it's pandering.
Some people calculate their takes in order to cater to the fan base.
Yeah.
And if you can't read it, maybe you don't want to read it. Maybe you like that. Maybe you
I don't like being pandered to. You're saying what you think I want to hear. I don't hear that.
Yeah,
36 years old. Thomas says if Niners win Super Bowl, QC wins MVP. No doubt. I want a ring. John Gonzalez says, you guys remember the movie Rookie of the Year where the kid loses his ability to throw heat, so he has to flow one over the plate and the dude whiffs? That's Brock with his interceptable balls. Does he go underhand?
Yeah.
At the end?
Yeah.
I think he does go underhand. Jason Duncan reported Swift has generated 331.5 million for the NFL already. No way they let the iconic moment of Kelsey and Swift hoisting Lombardi trophy slip away.
Jeez. Taylor Swift has become a thing in the NFL this year. Very interesting. Can you name one Taylor Swift song? I can't.
Are the Niners going to lose and there's going to be some like missed hold on Nick Bosa like 4 years ago that Niner fans talk about forever?
Grant, real quick, no looking it up. Can you name a Taylor Swift song? I cannot name one.
Not off the top of my head, no.
Shame on you. I can't either. I don't understand why she's so popular. I don't get it. My wife says she's like the white Beyonce. And I'm like, why though? I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm
I
not a
mean,
young woman. I don't understand it.
I can't really say either. She's pretty vanilla.
No pun intended.
Like she doesn't. I'm sorry. Like she doesn't really dance.
She's not a
Her
great
music isn't that
singer. She's not
danceable.
very. She's not like.
I just feel like she kind of just appeals to middle America. Like who? She's safe. She's like Drake. You could put Taylor Swift on at Target. You could put Taylor Swift. There's no like arena where it's inappropriate to play Taylor Swift or Drake.
Yeah.
So you play them all the time.
I don't get it.
I don't know. You have to ask a woman, but I feel like when they have Taylor Swift concerts at Levi's, all the women are in the same little outfit. And I feel like it's like a whole, they have cowboy boots on and a dress with rhinestones. Those three things: dress, rhinestones, cowboy boots. So it's a thing.
My son's girlfriend really likes Taylor Swift. So I think maybe it's just we're too old and the wrong gender.
Maybe you and I should take a day, just listen to a few of her albums, really read the lyrics as we listen, and just see how it hits us.
A whole day.
A whole day. We could do it together.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Chris Tallarica says Bosa will need to be a factor. Linebackers need to be able to cover Kelsey. Kyle got out of his own way and called a great game. Every O starter got a chance to get the ball. Kyle needs to do that again. Bosa has been a liability against the Chiefs. So, yeah. Ricky Rich 209 says, can we do what Tampa did in Super Bowl versus Kansas City? No, because that team just dominated the Chiefs' offensive line, which was playing a bunch of backups. That's what that game was.
Yeah, they had no line in that game. Kansas City did.
Grant, time to give McKivitz his props. Colton, great game. So proud of you. You were so excellent in the NFC Championship game. I don't know why I doubted you, man. It was you against Aiden Hutchinson, and you whooped that fool. Good job, Colton. He deserves props.
The truth.
Hell yeah. Papa Phil, both game-winning TDs to the right. Yeah. Colton, good stuff. Last question for you. Which team is better? The 2019 Niners or the 2023 Niners?
The offense is by far better this year. The quarterback is by far better this year. Not even close. Skill players better. Running back better. Everything better on the offensive side. By far, no question. That 2019 team is not getting ran on like this 49ers team. That's the difference to me. This 49ers team is better offensively. That 29 team is better defensively. Yeah. I mean, I think it's that.
I'm going to take the 2019 team. I mean, no. I'm taking the 2023 team for a lot of reasons. One, obviously, Brock over Jimmy. That's huge. Freaking huge. Little other things. Trent Williams is better than Joe Staley. No offense, Joe. Trent Williams is better. Christian McCaffrey is better than Raheem Mostert.
True. Now talk about the defense.
Ayuk's better than Emmanuel Sanders. Now talk about the defense. Okay. Travarius Ward's better than Richard Sherman. In my opinion, that was older Richard Sherman. Travarius Ward's in his prime. Diamondo Lenore is better than Mosley.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah.
I just don't think Wilkes is as good as Saleh. That's what we come back to. Like,
what about that D-line? Was it Buckner?
Yeah, I mean, before Buckner was on that team.
That's
Hargrave. Can we say that Hargrave's been kind of mid?
He hasn't jumped out at me very much. He hasn't done very much.
He hasn't been a dominant pass rusher, and his run defense is whatever.
The only time I noticed him yesterday was the offsides. That's the only time I noticed him yesterday.
Yeah. He's not Buckner, and they gave the contract that they could have given to Buckner to Hargrave instead. I'm still taking 2023. The difference between Brock and Jimmy at the most important position is that important.
Yeah, I'd go with the Brock team over Jimmy team. Like I would. It's not, the defensive line is not as good as 2019. That's just truth. But I'm taking Brock Purdy offense over a Jimmy Garoppolo offense 7 days of the week. Like I did not have any confidence that the 49ers are going to win that Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. I never felt that. I didn't think that was going to happen. With Brock, I think it's a possibility. I'm still not decided yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Probably going to be a homer. How am I going to bet against the 49ers in the Super Bowl? I'm not going to. But in my I feel a little
It
nervous.
was easy 4 years ago, though. Be like, I'm not picking Jimmy Garoppolo to beat Patrick. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Papa Phil says Ambry almost destroyed us again. Is he okay?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to Ambry. He did look. He went down. I felt bad because people are so hard on Ambry. I think he's played very well in a lot of games this year. He had an opportunity to come away with an interception. He didn't get it. But outside of that, I didn't really notice much bad from Ambry.
Niners got to stop drafting Michigan players.
Yeah.
Ambry, Moody, Ronnie Bell. I kind of like Ronnie Bell, though. Like, why did you hand off to Jawan Jennings? Hand off to Ronnie Bell.
Ronnie's TBD to me. He does a lot of things really good. Like, I like his blocking. I like his effort. But
I like his route running. I like his toughness.
He's tough. He scares me on his punt kick returns. And he also, in the preseason, do a lot of interceptions, man. Were caused by him.
Yeah.
I think he had like 2 or 3 caused by him, deflected off his hand. So he's TBD.
Papa Phil says, hate to see players hurt, but Ambry got to go. I'll be careful what you wish for because the replacement is Logan Ryan. So let's see how he does against Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
What did Ambry do so bad yesterday? Like, help me out. Maybe I just missed it. But I think Greg tells me I'm tripping in the chat. But what did I miss yesterday?
I don't really remember either. He gave up some catches, but that's par for the course for Ambry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the show. It's lunchtime. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back later in the afternoon. Kyle's going to talk, I believe, at 4:30.
We haven't had a Fernando in a long time.
I had to do like 10 of them last night. 4:30. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I fell asleep to you, Grant. I was up at 2:30. I watched your show at 2:30. And you last thing I heard last night when I was going to bed was you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Was my voice soothing to you?
It was.
Thank you. That's great.
I had a good sleep.
I'm glad I could come through for you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys later today. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the freaking week. Super Bowl. Hey, Niners.